Brad, we got maybe the biggest weekend of college hoops in the regular season all year long, and it's because we basically have a regular season Final Four ahead of us. You look at Michigan's record on the season, and the Wolverines have just that one loss, which came at home against Wisconsin, where the Badgers couldn't freaking miss. They're 25-1. Duke at 24-2. The Blue Devils' only losses to North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and earlier in the season, neutral site to Texas Tech by one freaking point. You're going to get Yaxel Lendeborg. You're going to get the Michigan towering front court against Cameron Boozer, the likely Wooden Award winner. This is the game. You get the Maize and Blue versus the Duke Blue, and you get it in our nation's capital. I mean, this is the stuff that dreams are made of here, Brad. So probably margin's going to be tight in this one. But I don't think it's going to hurt either team. We heard from Rocco Miller, who we had on earlier in the show. Both these teams probably going to be one seeds. So where do we find the difference in this one? Who wins this game and why?
Yeah, it's going to be packed to the gills. Secondary market right now. Cheapest ticket that I saw was $325. That is in the nosebleed behind the basket on one side of the court. You want decency? It's going to probably run you about $600-$700 in the crow's nest there at midcourt. So, yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. No question about it. I'm going to lay it with Michigan. I think they're going to win this game by 5 to 7 points, quite frankly. And the reason being is this. You got a classic contrast in styles. You look at both these teams are both inside the top three, according to Bart Torvik over the last 30 days. Over that same stretch, though, Duke number 352 in the country and adjusted tempo. What does that tell you? They prefer to grind it out in the half court. Meanwhile, Michigan, they love to fly up and down the floor and live in transition. That's why they're number 35 in adjusted tempo. Michigan, a team that's number 15 to EFG offense, number 18 to EFG defense. Duke at number 27 to EFG offense and number 110 in EFG defense. So I think that's a bit misleading because Duke has been an outstanding defensive team, especially in the half court for much of the season. Over the last 8 games, they're only given up 32.6% outside the arc. So who is going to win the battle of the bigs? That's a big determinant factor. I think with Mara and Morris Johnson being those enforcers in the interior, they're going to double team Cam Boozer. They're going to force him to kick it out wide to Foster, to Evans, to Dame Sarr as well. And we'll see if those guys can convert on the three-point opportunities in which, Duke's been kind of erratic in that category. In fact, they're shooting around 35% from distance over the last 30 days. They don't shoot a ton of threes. They're not particularly effective in terms of free throw rate either. Michigan has no weaknesses except for one, and that weakness being they can be a little bit careless with the basketball. So if John Shire really ratchet up the pressure in some of these half-court situations and forces Michigan into miscues, Duke could hang, but I think ultimately Dusty May and company get that marquee victory, solidify their stance as being the number one of number ones, and the team to beat in this year's NCAA tournament. By the way, plus 450 is Michigan right now to win the national title on BetMGM.
Yeah, I side with Michigan. I lean Michigan here too, but I'm probably going to stay away. I'm probably just going to enjoy the game. Because to be honest, I don't know. Michigan has played in a much stronger conference and they have just that one loss. So I think on paper, like they deserve to be the favorite, but I mean, I can absolutely see Duke winning this game. And for me, the battle that I can't wait to watch, and I don't know if they're going to be directly guarding one another multiple times or if it'll just be, here and there. I don't know how the coaching is going to be between Dusty May and John Shire. I hope we get Yaxel Lendeborg and Cameron Boozer going at one another, exchanging buckets. That, to me, I want to see if Yaxel Lendeborg can upstage the likely Wooden Award winner and Cameron Boozer, who's been the best college basketball player in the country this year. When you look at the numbers, and again, likely going to win the Wooden Award. So I want to see if Yaxel Lendeborg can upstage him because I think he's amazing. I think Yaxel Lendeborg is tremendous, and I think he's underrated. If somebody could ever be underrated and be as good as he is, I think it's him. And also maybe because, he went to Pennsauken High School, New Jersey native, even though it's South Jersey and Central Jersey, much different. He was a New Jersey kid, born in Puerto Rico. He's Dominican, but he also went to South Jersey High School. So I'm rooting for Yaxel Lendeborg. I hope that he goes for like 20 and 10 tomorrow. And I'm just interested if he is guarding Cameron Boozer. I know Ade Mara is going to be on him a lot, but that's the matchup I can't wait to watch. Again, I think Michigan probably wins it. But we'll see. Cameron Boozer going to face the best defense he'll probably face all season long, and we'll see if he maybe puts himself in the conversation for number one overall pick. If he goes, God forbid, 25 points and 12 rebounds and shoots 8 for 14 from the field. So can't wait to watch that one. Okay, that'll be the entree. The appetizer, though, is just as good, Brad. Arizona versus Houston from the Fertitta Center in H-Town. Arizona, number 4 in the country. They were undefeated just 2 weeks ago, but now had those back-to-back losses. They bounced back and beat BYU. They're 24-2. Houston 23-3. Although you look at the Cougars' losses, and there ain't a bad one in sight. They lost to Texas Tech on the road by 4. Lost to Iowa State on the road by 3. Lost neutral site to Tennessee, who was ranked at the time, by 3. They're unbeaten at home this year, and so they are naturally 4.5-point favorites in this one. Does the Houston defense live up to their billing? And oppositely, can Arizona win a game on the road without Koa Pete, who is out for this game? Break this one down, Brad. Who do you like in it?
I'm going to lay with Houston in the 5.5. I think the Cougars are going to try to really make a statement in this one. We had Rocco Miller on earlier in the show, who does bracketology for the Field of 68. He has Houston right now as his last number 1 seed. I have Iowa State. There's no argument either way, but because those teams went the head-to-head and the Cyclones barely got the victory inside Hilton, I give them the edge. But I might be able to change my mind here because this is going to be another marquee win opportunity for Houston, another quadrant 1 opportunity for H-Town. Contrast the styles in this one as well. Houston loves to grind it out and live in the half court. Number 356 in the country in adjusted tempo. Arizona likes to rev the engine at number 83 in that category. Outstanding backcourts of the Arizona Wildcats there with Jaden Bradley. Del Orso coming to the bench is also tremendous. The front court of Mount Crevas, but not having Koa Pete is a major factor out with that lower body injury. Houston has to be able to control the glass in this one with Sinak and with Tugler, and I think they will. And that defense, again, I describe them as a zombie horde. They're just relentless. They keep coming at you with that on-ball pressure defense. They force a lot of miscues and turnovers, which can lead to some easy buckets in the sprint outs. And they get those second chance opportunities, third chance opportunities repeatedly on a position in and position out basis. I just think Houston's a better team. And you and I have said this the last couple of weeks. Arizona was going to lose at a minimum, at least a couple of more games of the regular season. Of course, they caught an L already recently against Texas Tech, and I think they're going to get another one in this one. So Houston wins this. Are they going to blow them out? No, probably not, but I think they're going to win anywhere between 8 to 10 points, which means they're covering the 5.5. And I kind of like the under as well because they're going to dictate tempo and pace in this one. So yes, indeed, I would live and land down under on 139.5.
This feels like it could be a blowout, Brad. I mean, the way that look, we learned something very new about Arizona, or we learned something very new about Houston tomorrow. Maybe we learned that Arizona is an elite team and they were the undefeated team we saw to start the year. Maybe Houston's not as great as we thought. Maybe that defense shows some cracks tomorrow. Maybe it's Del Orso and the guys off the bench for Arizona draining threes no matter how much pressure's in their face. But the way this storm is brewing, it feels like it's a big red storm, a Cougar storm that's going to blast through the Wildcats tomorrow. So honestly, I like Houston as well. I'll buy into the hype. I'll buy into continue not buying the dip just yet on Arizona. Let it dip a little bit more before you buy that dip. I like the Cougars. I think that they blow them out, man. I really do.
Wow.
So
all right.
Like it just feels like you got a team that's peaking and a team that's kind of going south, and they're playing without one of their best players, and they're going on the road to a team that's undefeated in their own building. You know, home court advantage is massive in college basketball, and they got it tomorrow, and it's a big one. And it just feels like Arizona is going to be licking their wounds and saying, hey, we just need to get whole. Tommy Lloyd talked about it earlier in the week. I saw him on with SVP after they beat BYU. And he's like, yeah, we're almost whole. We're not quite there yet. It feels like they know what they're walking into tomorrow, and there's really not a damn thing they can do about it. So you and I both on Houston. I think the Cougars win big. I'm talking like 15 points. Like I'll even give you a score. I'll give you 75-60 final score tomorrow. Houston wins this one, and it falls on the
Spicy.
under.
All right.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a big one late tomorrow night. Speaking of licking their wounds, that is what BYU has been doing. No Richie Saunders, out for the year. AJ DeBonsa, though, a one-man wrecking crew doing whatever he can. Can they put up the shield tomorrow in Provo and pull off the upset against number 6 Iowa State? The Cyclones, they had the country by storm over this past week. Hilton Magic, they crush Kansas, then they knock off Houston on Monday night. Is this a letdown spot going on the road to BYU, who feels like a desperate team trying to keep that high seed intact even without their second best player? Can AJ DeBonsa essentially will this team to a win tomorrow? The Cyclones are only 3.5-point favorites. I would watch out. I would be wary. I would tread lightly if you like Iowa State. This is a small spread for a reason. I think the Cougs are live in this one because AJ DeBonsa can easily go for 35 and win this game by himself.
Yeah, on paper, these two teams heading in complete opposite directions. Iowa State, the last 30 days, scoring to Bart Torvik, number 2 in the country in overall efficiency. Where's BYU? Number 50. And a lot of people may hear that and automatically say, oh my God, back up the truck, take out a second mortgage, I got to put it on the Cyclones of Iowa State. But I'm with you, man. Here's how I'm going to play this game. I'm not going to bet it pregame. I'm going to bet this sucker live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to see what version Iowa State shows up. At any point they get down in this contest, I might fire off on them on the live line or live money line. They had the veteran leadership. They're a better constructed team. They don't have a tremendous amount of depth. I love Lipsy. I love Momcilovic. He's one of the best three-point shooters in college basketball. And Joshua Jefferson has been one of the elite in terms of efficiency that's out there. The K-Poi, Ken Pom Player of the Year rankings, he's inside the top 5 on the season. And their role players are really stepped up. Guys like Heisey and Buchanan. But, the thing with BYU, the downside with them, they're 338 in EFG defense over the last 30 days. Over that stretch, Pat, they're giving up 54% from 2 and 41.2% from 3. In the three-point category alone, they're ranked 351 in the country over that span in three-point percentage defense. But I got to listen to my gut. I'm with you. I think BYU is going to be competitive. It's always tough in Marriott and the Marriott Center there in Provo. So I think they're going to hang. That's why I'm going to refrain from betting the game pre-tip. I'm going to watch it live. We'll do it live, and I will bet the game live. Likely it's
we'll do
there
it
it
live.
is. Thank you.
I'll write it and we'll do
there
it live.
Amen. That's exactly what we're gonna do. On
Perfectly
this
timed.
game. So, yeah, give me Iowa State at some point, and we'll do it live.
Perfectly timed drop by Brandon Combs. Bleeping thing sucks.